Alright, hi, so we are here on Silverpine, which is my personal Minecraft project with a lot of collaborations from other builders. And so this is a big empty space that I had. There was two possibilities for me to do with this space. I could have either continued the row shops here like I have over there. However, I went for a different approach and did something that I was wanting to do anyway. So as you can see in front of me, this does look a little confusing, but don't overthink it. The purple wall you don't really need to worry about. This is just the line references, so how long each block is. So that one's I think like 49, this is like 20. That way I had everything perfectly in the middle. Some of these spaces, it does look good if you have it a little off center. However, I wanted this to be a centerpiece, so that is what we're going to do. Now, the centerpiece is going to be in this small little red circle here. In this middle circle here, we're going to have a fountain, and then on the outside, which is a larger circle, we are going to have the pathway for it. Now around here there is going to be other pathways that I did not line in just yet. However, we will get that done eventually, as well as we're going to be plopping into some trees, some park benches, etc. So let's just jump straight into it. So the first thing that we're going to do is grab there's a stripped birch log. This is the block here that we're going to be using for this path. Now I really like the look of this, so that's what we're going to do. And so what we need to do is we need to change this entire area. Quickest way to do that would be to replace it. However, since there's so many different things, we're going to have to use a cool world edit trick. Alright, so to fill this in, we're going to have to do a simple world edit trick. So if you take your axe and you type /cell, there's quite a few different commands that you can use with your world edit wand. However, this one's going to be a little different. So we're going to do /set poly. And what this allows us to do is actually select many different positions. So we can come here and just select all of these and S2. Oh, okay, so we've clearly missed a couple, but it's okay. Alright, so next things next is now we can remove this outside perimeter, so we don't actually need this now anymore, now that we know what we're going to be doing. So we're just going to come around and delete that. Alright, so from what we can see here, now we have got the outer rim for this, so this is where people are going to be able to walk around. So I think what I want to do here is I'm going to just take some different colored walls, and these all just kind of represent different things. So for the yellow wall, we're going to be putting some little park benches. Here, just people being able to sit down somewhere. And we're just going to chuck down a couple trash cans as well, so maybe we'll put one on the edges as well. Maybe we don't need one on everyone. That should be good. And then from here, I also wanted to have a couple different paths. So from this point here, I'm going to pop a block down, and same on this side. And we need to kind of pick a general direction where we want to go. So I want it to kind of be a bit of a longer path. That should work. So we're going to just go do the same thing here on the other side. And then what we can do, so we need to make sure you, once you're done with the poly, you just need to change it back to the cuboid. So select your two different positions, and then we're going to use the /line command, and we're just going to go hand, and that's just going to give us the block here that we've got in our hand. And there we can see we've got the lines. Then we're going to do the exact same thing here, and there we go. So now we've kind of got this little shape. We can now decide on the width. So I think maybe 5 blocks should work. So we're going to do 5 blocks here. And then we'll do the same over here. There we go. And then we can just get rid of these lines. So it's looking a bit basic right now. And so what we're going to do to change that up a little bit as well is we're going to have, as you can see, we've got these two lines here. We're not actually going to have ones like this on the other side. So now what we need to come down and do is we need to identify the pattern that the line is in. So you can see it's going in a 1 2 1 2 2 1 2 1 2 2 1 2 1 2 2. So we can now identify that. So we got 2 2 2 1 2 1 and then a double 2. So that's the pattern that it's gotten off of. You can see this is the middle, and then we need to just basically do the exact same thing, but instead of this being 5 blocks long, we're going to need to make it maybe about 3 blocks. So then what we just need to do is you need to offset this as well. So Something like this should do the trick. So that's going to be the one, this will be the 1, 2, 1, 2, and so forth. Alright, so there is one of them done, and the best part about these being the exact same is that we just need to copy it. And alright, so as you can see, we've now filled in the paths. So overall so far, this has taken me about half an hour. So it doesn't take a lot to fill in these big spaces like this. Yeah, what I was going to say is, so as you can see here, we've kind of like made a weird eyeball looking guy with some legs. Now his legs are looking a bit shrimpy. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring this up here a bit taller. So taller, wider. We just want to widen that up a little bit. It looks a bit weird. And then we'll make this connection point just a little better, so it doesn't look too off. There we go, that looks a bit better. That way it just doesn't connect into the other one a bit weird. So then what we can also do is we might tidy these ones up too, so we'll make it a little nicer. So we're just going to add in 2. Yeah, that worked. So alright, so now that our paths are a little more connected, you can see we've kind of got some interesting little shapes of grass here. And so how are we going to fill them? Well, the first thing is we're going to add a lot of trees. So as you can see here, this is the church here for Silver Pine. Beautifully done by Itamar. This is all his work. And something that a lot of people forget is trees and greenery really add to a build. Now, he only just finished this today. This has been a long project in the works. I think it's taken him nearly about 3 weeks to do. Maybe even a little bit longer. But he put in all the trees and all this shrubbery and finished the parking lot as well. And all these little details have really just tied his building in together. So we're going to do the same thing. Now, obviously, Silver Pine here, we are in North America, so we're going to be using some trees specifically to that region, specifically trees around the Michigan area, because that's the inspiration for the town. And so right over here, Adam has already used them because he was doing stuff with it, but he's already popped these down for us, so it means we don't have to go into the back and get it. And so what we're going to do to make this really easy on ourselves is we're just going to select 2 regions and do POS2, so you don't have to select it. And then we can just break these because we don't need them anymore. And we're just going to stand where we're going to paste them. So we're going to copy it from here. Make sure you copy with biomes, especially in the cubedpack. I also apologize for the weird differences in the mic sometimes. So yeah, you just want to make sure that you are copying with the biomes. So to do that, just copy negative biome.e, which is biomes and entities, because biomes are the big part of 1.14 here for cubed. And what we're going to do is we're not really going to place these in any specific order. However, one thing that I did just forget to do is we actually do have an elevation point here. And so we do need to first do that first. So before we do that, we just need to add the elevation point. Now, there's 2 different ways we can do this. We can kind of do it by hand. So that, for example, if I just chuck in like a random shape. That. Got a bit messy there. Something like that can work. Kind of just depends on your look and what you're going for, but you can always come back in and tidy it up. But what we can do is we can do that line command again, where we did the /that line. But as you can see over here, it's also on this side. So what we need to do now is the exact same thing on this side. So don't worry about the connections for these paths just yet. I'll show you how to connect these. So something like this. So you can kind of see I've made these ones a bit longer. Coming around and so as I said, kind of just play around with it. So like for this part right here, I'm not a fan of, because also let them come in and then go back out. So what I mean by that is like for this one here. So it's came in and then it comes all the way in, and then it comes out and then it goes back in for a sec, and then it goes all the way out. So there is that, and I think that'll work. It doesn't have to be perfect, as I said. I recommend only doing a few at a time. So this should be good here. And all we're going to do is just move one up, assuming everything went okay. So apparently it did not. Apparently missed a couple. Try that one again. There we go. And so as you can see, we've just simply moved that up. And then it's the exact same thing. So I'm going to go around and do the exact same thing for the rest, and we'll come back as well. I did also want to mention another thing. So sometimes it can also be quicker. So for this little one here, instead of like coming all the way around and making the selections, you can just build it and then come and stand in the middle and then just do the /fill. And then if you're holding it, just do hand or whatever block you want to set it to. And just do a massive radius that you know is way too big, and that'll fill it in there. But definitely don't just go around placing random blocks. Definitely think about them first, because then you can end up with something a bit messier than what you were hoping for. And we're just going to also talk about the next thing here. So now these paths should be okay, but what happens when you end up with one like this? So in my opinion, it's just best to kind of fill it up again. So kind of something like that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, definitely play around with it. So that one's not too bad. This one's a bit iffy still. So like, as I said, yeah, just kind of come and play around with what you think looks good. This is a lot of trial and error. So now for these ones, it's pretty simple. Just find a slab. Now, if you're using cubed, there should be a similar, but maybe not in this case. So what you can do is you can just try and find a block, kind of just like in regular survival as well, is just finding a block that matches it relatively. But we'll do it like that, because I think that does weirdly look the best. And then for this one, we can just do that. This one, same deal. And this one is piece of cake. Okay, and then we'll just fix that one up because it does actually look a little better like this. And there we go. Alright, so that was the first step done. So now we've gotten our terrain to blend in with the surroundings that we've done. And we've also got the paths done. So now is the time where we can come in and add the trees, and then we can do everything else. So let's go add some trees in. Alright, so we've got our tree here. So what we're going to do is just simply paste it in. And boom. Now you'll notice that I haven't rotated these just quite yet because we are doing them all around the place. But we will get to that in just a second. Oh, we might not do that one there. We'll do it right here. Alright, so now for the next part is rotating. So we're going to rotate these by 90 degrees. And then we're just going to come back around and we're going to chuck in a couple more trees. Alright, and there we already have. So there we've got plenty of these trees. Now as you can see, they all are the same height. So we can also go grab the smaller variants. But what we are going to do first is also going to grab a couple of these birch trees. And there we go. So now we've also got a few trees in here. So as you can see, it's not overdone. So you can still see there's quite enough room here for more trees. And that's kind of the point, is I don't want this to be super enclosed. That way, so, you know, when people are driving by, there's still a lot of things that they can see, and also want them to be able to see the main point in the town here. The final part now is doing the main centerpiece. So I've already got a plan for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our sandstone here, and we're going to mark the ring here, and then we're just going to put a nice little perimeter around this. And what we're going to do is, since we've got no space, we're going to do that fill command again. So we're just going to do fill 9 250. Next step is going to be the main centerpiece here. And what I actually think I want to do over here too is Do we want to change that to cut? Yeah, let's change this to cut sandstone. And there we go. That does actually look way better. And then what we're going to do is do the same thing for the ring here. Except for this one, we're going to come up by one with some, was this chiseled sandstone? And we're going to put 2 of these slab there and 4 of these regular ones. And then we're going to bring it in. And then we're going to kind of make this stair wrap around. What do we think? Maybe not, but we'll do like this. Alright, and... oh, oops, damn it. How does that look? You know what? I actually quite like that. And then what we can do here is we'll put another 4 chiseled sandstone. 1 more of these. I love these cut sandstone. These are gotta be my favorite type of block in the pack. Maybe something like that. Yeah. And then and then we're going to bring that up again. Bring you with us. Alright, so then what if we try something like nah, that's too tall. Bring it down by a block. No. And then we can finish this off here with a point and boom. You know what? I think I'm quite happy with that. Now, some of you probably think it looks silly, but I think I actually quite like it. Now, the only other thing I'm going to add is... okay, so just for the finishing touches now. Oh, how can we get that to work? So if we put this down like this. This might work. There we go, and then... there we go, using some magical cube powers, we can then just make it, there we go. Now all we need to do is do that on the same 4 sides. Okay, and then same thing as before, so we just need to chuck block, and then boom, bam, bingo. Can chuck on some of these. And there we go, that is the centerpiece. I'd say pretty confidently done. Yeah, the last sort of thing that I do want to change is obviously, first of all, the floor of the good thing is, so we don't need to use this poly, so let's see, maybe we should use bedrock. Let's try that. V2 hand. Yeah, I think that works. Alright, so one of the last few things we need to do is, so we can just first of all place down some bins, and then if we grab our park benches, look at that, we're lucky we grabbed the right ones. Oopsie, wrong one, wrong one, wrong one. There we go. And then if we just also add a couple around here, so another one of those, another bin, so just really enforce the whole being clean. There we go. And then these ones is where it can be a bit difficult, so I should be honest, I won't put one there, to be honest with you. Bang, boop. And then a bin, and these are just the last ones. I think they need to have some benches. And then one around the front is probably bad. I think that should be fine. And there we pretty much have it. So the only other thing now we need to do is grab some bone meal and just add in a few plots of grass. Now, I don't want it all to be like this, we just kind of want to keep the edges a bit like this. So it kind of divides it a little bit. Alright, so have I missed any pots? We'll put some here too. So the reason that I've done this is that A, it divides the main park and the road. So what this usually means is people will be less likely to walk through your plants and everything else, and it encourages them to use the walkways. But then it just also means that these nice little green areas, so here, would be kept a little shorter, maybe these ones aren't. And it also just adds a couple other bits of color. Oh right, so one of the few other bits and bobs that I just added in between, because I forgot to note them in the building, is, so as you can see here, the grass is a bit different. That's because I've used a bit of a mix between concrete powder and grass, just so it gives it a little more realistic look rather than just plain grass. As well as a couple like little bushes, just overgrown patches of grass, and then just some lights. So as you can see, this is my favorite time to use, which is 1835 to be exact. And just so that way when people walk in, you know, there's a nice bit of light still lighting up the area. Pretty happy with the placement of them. So, you know, you got a couple coming in. You can see there's a few on the way out as well. So maybe I need to just add one more over there, to be honest with you. But yeah, just a couple around here, especially around like your seating. So like, you know, if you got someone sitting here and having a nice light at night, it's always good. And then just a couple walking in and out, so that way it feels a bit safer as well, and it looks a bit nicer. So you can just kind of come in and then boom, some lights. Same with here, so you know, you got some lights coming in. This one here. It's got one here just next to the tree, and yeah, so then just some more trash cans, obviously. I also put some lights here around the monument sort of thing, so you can see
We just chucked in some sea lanterns, just so at night this gets a little more lit up, and you can see I've also put some lights here. Just, you know, like in real life, there'd probably be like a couple lights or something here, maybe on here, lighting it up at night. That way it stands out a bit more. And so yeah, it's pretty much everything that I'd personally add to it. It's a nice little space filler as well. So let's jump into a cinematic look at the build, and we'll call it there. And that's pretty much about it, guys. So that's how I would fill up these big green spaces that you have. So if you're ever really struggling with not exactly knowing what you're going to put in for a build, I highly recommend putting a park. It's also a good center point. So for Silver Pine specifically, we've got the river that runs along here. But then we're going to have some more buildings over here and over here. And this is kind of just like the main center part of the town. Obviously we got the two main sort of streets for the town here. So it's just having a nice center point for it. Does definitely look great. Also, in my opinion, playing with your elevation. So as you can see here, we've got a slight elevation change, but just adding that little bit of elevation really adds to your detail. So just instead of having a massive flat build, it definitely does a ton for the look. And then all these little bits of detail for your grass. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for how I would design and fill in these empty spaces. If you had any other comments or questions or anything you'd like to know about this build specifically, you can just ping me in the Cube Discord server. Invite link will be in the description. But with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one, and I hope you have a great day. See you guys.